Why do we reject love? I'm willing to bet that in today's age, and especially in the modern world, so let's like narrow it down there, up to 75% of relationships, especially at the beginning, involve one or the other person trying to sabotage a relationship. Now, sabotaging a relationship means trying to invalidate the relationship, trying to, break it down, trying to reject healthy love. We're talking about sabotaging healthy love. And that's quite a crazy number when you think about it. That over 75% of people are unconsciously trying to break down healthy love that they can have in their relationships. A lot of us, even us speaking on these videos, our podcast, like guests, etc., unconsciously sabotage loving, safe, healthy relationships. And most of us don't even know we're doing it. Most of us for sure don't know why. So today I want to talk about that a little bit, some of my own experiences. I'm going to bring on, my partner in crime and my guest, Christina, who I'm going to talk to her about that as well. So let's just jump straight into it. Christina, welcome as I catch you mid-sip. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I appreciated that intro. By you calling me your partner in
Yeah.
crime, I feel like that's such an honor. And also it's pretty reflective of the work you
Yeah,
do.
exactly, right. But I'm happy to have you on, of course, partner in crime, because we're doing these podcast episodes together at least every now and then when you jump on. Okay,
Beautiful.
so I was thinking about this concept of self-sabotage, right? And self-sabotage is like the most psychological technical term. But for me, I like to think about it as rejecting love. And let's say rejecting healthy love, because again, most of us, we think love is, oh my God, I want this person to whisk me around the world, take me everywhere, buy me these things, or just like always be there with me, watch these things with me. Like those are small components of love and good relationships. But we forget that healthy relationships are a lot of like communication, stability, something that I think a lot of people unconsciously hate or dislike because they've never been used to it. So before I jump into why I think, we reject healthy love, I want to ask you, why do you think people reject healthy love in their lives?
Because it's disgusting.
Well, great. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you come again to the next one. That was the best answer I've received. Okay, that's partially
No,
true
but
though for a lot of people, right? They feel it's disgusting, but go on.
no, for sure. I wanted to start with that because myself included, and I believe you as well, but us doing this work, we've talked to so many people. I know from my own personal experience when before I did all this work, when healthy love that was just attentive and kind and caring when it would come into my life, it felt repulsive,
Yeah.
to be a little bit dramatic. And so then we kind of get into, okay, well, that doesn't answer the why, which is what we're also going to talk about. But I mean, the why for me has always been, or used to be, just not feeling worthy
Mm.
of receiving it and not being used to it. And especially like when we're looking at rejection, I always see rejection for myself as being a protective mechanism where I'm like, okay, I'm going to protect myself by rejecting it first
Mm.
because then you know what's going to
Right.
happen, right?
Yeah.
So if you're like, well, I'm going to say yes to this thing, it could potentially hurt
Yeah.
you and come back to hate you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's just, I can go into that more, but I would love to hear your take
Yeah,
on
for
this too.
me, well, as you know, like I always look into the neuroscience of it because I want to understand why we do it. Now, if I'm being really honest, I know I have unconsciously, and this is what's important, we unconsciously sabotage. We don't want to push away healthy love. We unconsciously do it because we're tuned into something else. Now, what is this something else we're tuned into? More often than not, it's, you can blanket it as unhealthy relationships, but we're tuned into somebody else. We're tuned into a work. We're tuned into money, whatever the things that validate us so much because we're addicted, we're attached to them, that we forget really what's actually healthy for us. And the reason
Mm.
why we do it, the reason why I believe we sabotage healthy love is because our nervous systems are just not used to healthy love. They're just not used to it. That's actually plain and simple the scientific truth of why we push away things we don't know. Now, take for example, just to break this down a little more for everybody listening, When you're really young is when your nervous system develops, right? That's when you're forming all of your like body organs, everything completely, but also more importantly, your mind really starts developing after you're born. And so it starts absorbing everything you know about life to create your own constructs of life. Your nervous system the same way, which is why habits and everything at that time, languages, you learn them so quick at that time because your nervous system learns everything. But you also learn about yourself, your value, your worth by observing other people treating you. This is a concept called neuroception. And when you're doing this learning, if you had someone or an environment or some people who couldn't show up for you, they couldn't love you, they didn't mimic healthy love to you or even to each other, parents who are fighting, if you've been bullied like horribly at school, which is a continuous rejection, if you had a parent who prioritized work over spending time with you, then that's like abandonment. If you had a parent who was narcissistic, and they made you feel small to make themselves feel big. Hell, even if you just had like a busy single parent who did their best, but they couldn't validate you enough, your nervous system starts getting used to this. And this is the idea of what they think they should give you or what they can give you, but it's not necessarily the idea of the love that you need. So then this becomes the idea of love that your nervous system believes is true. And for the rest of your life, it unconsciously goes after seeking this because, this is what's locked into your beliefs about yourself, your subconscious mind. So if we've been used to, especially, but not limited to heavy betrayal, a lack of love, heavy breakups, people, using or abusing us, or people just not showing up for us, we get so used to this idea that we're not lovable, we don't deserve love, as you just said, but we also think it's not bloody true. So that when good love actually comes our way, because our nervous system is so not used to it, it unconsciously pushes it away by rejecting it, by finding it unattractive. That's a huge one. Like when a lot of people are in relationship, let's say you're an anxious attacher, and you're in a relationship with someone who you're constantly chasing. They're an avoidant. Why? Because your nervous system is used to chasing people right from a young age in order to earn love. Now you keep chasing, chasing, chasing this person. Let's say, the avoidant, now it doesn't work out. Meanwhile, there's a healthy, loving man or woman who comes your way, who's trying to love you. They're trying to make you feel like you're important in the world, that you deserve to receive. Because you're so not used to that, you will unconsciously flip your nervous system to be the person who runs away from them. And you'll find them needy. You'll find them too much. You'll find them like, annoying, disgusting, whatever, like you said, just so you can push them away. When meanwhile, they were probably just giving you a healthy idea of love that you've never been used to before. Have you ever
Yeah,
experienced something like that in your own life or with
absolutely.
friends or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I wanted to add to kind of add a little bit more texture to what you're
Mhm.
saying is that receiving love and like having your heart be open, it's really
Yeah,
vulnerable. So it can feel really scary. So like all the things you're talking about with like, nervous system regulation and just like that agitation being there, like what we're used to, it's also like it is really vulnerable to be in
right.
that
But here's a
space.
question. Sorry, I
So I
don't want to interrupt you, but I want to go on that train of thought because it's so important. Yes, you're being vulnerable when you're exposed to like, love of any sort, especially a healthy kind of love. But why is it dangerous? Vulnerability doesn't always have to be dangerous, right? Vulnerability can actually lead to strength if you believe that you will be loved, protected, and safe. So, why is this kind of vulnerability when you're opening up to real love? Why is it dangerous?
Yes, great question. And so that's where it feels
Hmm.
dangerous because of a past experience
Exactly.
where you've been hurt when you were
Right.
vulnerable. And that's actually exactly what happened for me, going back into my childhood. I
Mhm.
remember with this visceral memory that's stored in my body and I can even like start to tap into how that feels, but there was a moment where I was trying to connect with my dad before he passed away from terminal lung
Well,
cancer, and I was 13 years old and I just wanted to connect with
mm,
him. And so think about an awkward adolescent
yeah.
girl that like literally she knows that her dad's dying and I wanted to connect with him before he passed and I tried to and I was brutally heavily
Of
rejected. And it may not have seemed like it to him or to anyone
course.
who might have seen, for me, I can pinpoint, I could stop and I could tell you exactly how that felt in my body.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it was
And that
catastrophic,
fear doesn't
you
leave
know?
you, no? Like, it's such a painful experience that, you store it so heavily and strongly that when, the next time if you're going, you'd much rather go after someone who doesn't give that to you, like, because that's what feels familiar, rather than go after someone with whom you have a chance, you open up, you let yourself get in, you trust, and then they fucking break it down and they sabotage it, and then they like break your trust or your belief in yourself.
Yeah. And you said it doesn't leave you. And we know that we're doing this work because we know that we can get on the other side of that
Mhm.
fear,
Right.
right?
Are you hurting from shame, loneliness, toxic relationships? Do you want to break that pattern and create a beautiful, loving life for yourself? Well, my name is Yats, and I'm an inner work and relationship guru. And I have helped thousands of women and men from all around the world learn to become their best selves and have the lives that they truly want and desire. This channel was designed for you to be able to heal those old wounds, be able to become and elevate your best self, and to you to love your life really that you have right now. And I offer an 8-week program called the GAUNTLET, which takes you on this amazing journey of healing those wounds. And I also offer in-person live retreats all around the world where you can access that same level of healing and empowerment. I want you to do something for you today. I want you to watch some of these videos. And if these videos hit close to home, they resonate with you and they're giving you some inspiration, then I want you to subscribe and share it with somebody else who needs it. These videos aren't just for someone to consume. They're meant to inspire people to take action. And if you want to take action in your own life, jump in the comments, watch the videos, send me a DM at the Inner Yats on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video.